we will see how long this lasts. I've knocked it over 3 times already. Working on some beads right now. There's a lot of little, I'm not going to say make work, but just little-ish that goes into beads. The ones I'm pulling down now have been dipped in varathane, so they're ready to, I dipped them on these. There, how's that? And I have to pull the hook out, and then I have to clean the hole, and then I have to determine whether or not they need more polish or not, a second coat. I was doing 2 coats automatically, but they get real plasticky looking, and yeah, they're plastic. That's what polyclay is plastic. So it's a balance. Hold on one second. Okay, so that's taking those down, and I'll set them aside for now. And then I have to dip a batch to get them going, because the dipping process is like 3 stages. And there it is. Yeah, I could be better organized. So I have a little nest going on here, because that's what I do, is I build nests. This is my beading nest over there. Over there is my spinning nest. These need to go up, and I need these hooks, and that's not going to be enough hooks, so we'll do until we run out of hooks. And can of, this is what I dip my beads in. Can you read that? Ultimate Polyvarathane water-based crystal clear gloss. It's cheap, it's easy. You can buy the Sculpty brand stuff, you can buy all kinds of fancy stuff in the craft store. Most of it is simply rebadged to this stuff. I gotta quit saying yeah, we're working on this. So, bead tour. This is a bead that did not turn out. I don't like it. It's silly. The center flower started out bright red, but the colors meld together funky sometimes. So dipping beads is a whole lot of, you can't see it, this. Drip, 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 drip. Drip, drip, drip. And then a whole lot of reaching over and hanging it on my little chopstick array. You can see the chopsticks, right? These are chopsticks. Why chopsticks? Because anything else is expensive and annoying, and I have chopsticks. This is also a bead that did not turn out. Can you see him? Can you see him? He's supposed to be drinking from a soda can, but it didn't turn out that way, and the eyeballs look too much like boobies. So he's another one that got, when a cane doesn't turn out, I chop it up and make something else. Okay? I posted photos on Facebook of a train I was trying to build in the pixel pattern, and I'm dyslexic, so the wheel angle lines for the wheel were supposed to go this way, and I put them that way, and my train had a flat tire, and trains are not supposed to have flat tires. So I chopped up all of the train cane and made a whole bunch of black and white beads. I call them stormtrooper beads. I don't know that they actually look like stormtroopers, because there's a whole bunch of glitter in there that the camera's not picking up, but I made a whole bunch of black and white beads. If you watch the tutorials on making canes, they save their ends and everything, and they combine things together, and they make random beads out of the leftover clay. The big thing is, don't ever throw clay away unless it's all dried out and nasty. It's got a use. That first one, this cane right here, I mushed and made some of these. I don't know that the camera's really catching the detail. Let's see if I can get it to focus better. Yeah, can you see the gold leaf embedded? And the sparkles? Anyway, it's a really pretty bead. It's a lot prettier than the original mess. So that's that. I'm going to be sitting here for about an hour dipping because this is the morning. And the varathane takes about 12 hours to dry. So the sooner I get them set, the better. And in all honesty, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and for me that's morning because I'm lazy. Nah. I have chronic health problems. Sometimes I sleep late, sometimes I don't sleep at all for a week. It varies. This week it's been sleeping too much. I have to work on not being so negative about it to myself, because yourself hears yourself when you're negative. Yeah. I'm trying for 10 minutes today. We're at 6 minutes right now. My plan is to eventually do the oh so soothing, I think they're called AMSRs. I'm going to have to look that up. Videos where I don't actually talk. You like that idea, right? Where I just sit here and work and the video just goes, and see if people like those. Mostly I just want to show, I have a lot of people I know who go to do something and they'll watch the tutorial and then they'll start doing something and I'll look at that and I'll go like, oh, that's not going to work the way they think. And then a week later they'll message me and they're like, oh my god, I watched this tutorial, I'm doing this process and I'm doing something wrong. Well, what are you doing wrong? Well, it's taking me 6 hours and she only takes 20 minutes. Okay, let's unbox that. If you have all the perfect tools, if you have years and years of experience, if you have a dedicated setup workspace, then something might take 20 minutes. But if you're learning it as you go, if you're doing the tedious process and not the cheater process, because I could paint on polish on these, I'd still have to paint it on every single bead. There's one tutorial where she strings her beads on fish line and she dunks them into the can and then she pulls them up and hangs them to drip, and it takes like 30 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. I tried that once. You wind up with plastic string lines straight across the face of every single bead. To me, that bead's now a throwaway. She obviously doesn't think it matters. If you're learning a new process, it takes longer. So I figured I'd show the actual work involved, not the, I'm going to clip this off while I go do my rolling. Okay, when you're making beads, there's a thing called Skinner blends. Skinner blends are when you take 2 or 3 colors and you blend them together to get the gradient in between in this really beautiful spread. And every tutorial out there, they'll put the 2 triangles together. They go, now I'm going to go and I'm going to put it through my pasta machine and I'll be right back. And the camera cuts for a second and they come back and they have these Skinner blends. And half of them say put it through the pasta machine for 7 times and half of them say put it through the pasta machine for 15 times. But if you go to the website for the actual clay, if you look at the actual directions, 35 times. Okay? What that means, though, is that your clay is going to get too soft to work and you're going to have to take a break in the middle. So you do it 7 to 15 times, you set it aside, you do the next one, you do the next one, you do the next one, you come back to the first one, you do it. Okay? By the time they come back in that Skinner blend they're showing you, they went and got a cup of coffee, had a cigarette, fed the dogs, and put lunch on. And probably ate lunch. It's hours later. They're not showing you that. Okay? There's one tutorial out there that I love her work. I'm not going to name her. Love her work. She'll wear the same shirt. So it looks like it's if I wore this every single time I did a bead video and claimed they were all done the same day. But her fingernail polish changes, okay? From the start of the video to the end of the video, she might have 3 different colors of fingernail polish. This is 3 different weeks into this video to do this one cane. Why? Because clay has to rest. This is an ugly cane, okay? If you overwork the clay, it gets really, really soft, and me doing this, it would go bleh, like mozzarella. Okay? Clay has to rest, and they're not showing you that resting period. This brings me, how many? I'm at 10 minutes. I'll go ahead and go a little over. Pet peeve of mine, huge pet peeve of mine, is people who make the snarky ass gaslighting comment, "It's a poor workman who blames his tools." Real pet peeve of mine. Huge pet peeve of mine. I will mention this. I'll probably talk about this every other video from now on. Okay? The only people who will look you in the eye and say it's a poor workman who blames his tools are people who own 7 of that tool. They own their starter tool. They own the one they broke. They own 3 more mid-grade tools that they bought at some point in the last 20 years. They own the best tool on the market. And they own the tool they found that works. They own 7 of those tools. And they've been working with that tool, that whole spread of tools, for at least 10 to 15 years. Okay? So, they know that if you use roller A, for whatever you're doing, it leans to the left. They know that. That brand leans to the left. And they have a muscle memory bypass that simply shifts ever so slightly to the right without even thinking about it. They never even think about it. Which means they can't tell you shift to the right because they don't know they're shifting to the right. Okay? They just know that tool works fine for them. Okay? That tool works fine for them because of 15 years of experience. And when somebody's starting out and a so-called master of a trade tells them it's a poor workman who blames their tools, that so-called master of the trade is gaslighting and being an asshat. Point blank. Okay? If a tool doesn't work for you, the tool doesn't work for you. You can't do the project with that tool. When I started, I didn't have doing clay again. I did clay for 10 years, about 10 years ago. Got pretty good. I mean, I'm never going to be brilliant, honest. I'm never going to have the finesse. I'm never going to be that anal retentive with my lines. I'm okay. I enjoy it. I can make some pretty things. See, pretty leaf. Can you see pretty tree leaf? Focus. The camera will not focus. It wants to focus on my face. How's that? Nope. Oh well. When I first started out, one of my hesitations with starting was that I didn't have a pasta roller. There's a lot of things you cannot do in polymer clay without a pasta roller. There's a lot of things you cannot do in real clay without a pasta roller. Didn't have a pasta roller. Didn't have a budget for a pasta roller, and that's more important. So I didn't want to start, and I kept talking myself out of starting for about a year. Oh, I'd do clay again because it's something I can do sitting here sick, but I don't have a pasta roller. Until finally, Michael's Crafts had one of the multi-pack half-ounce block sampler packs on sale, and it was one of those prices you don't walk past. I think it was like $5 for what should be a $20 pack. I grabbed it. I came home. I'm like, but I don't have a work surface. Well, I have this board. This board will work. I don't have a roller. Well, I have a PVC pipe, 1-inch PVC pipe. That'll work. I don't have a straight blade. I have an X-Acto knife. It'll work. And the first couple of things I did weren't canes. Okay, so they didn't need that level of finesse. And it turned out really well. And I had fun. And we went back, and the first thing we bought was a better roller and some straight blades. And the second thing we bought was a $10 pasta roller. $10 for something that should cost $50. It works. I can make it work because I know what my clay is supposed to look like when it's finished. If I was just starting out and had never done clay again, I would never suggest a $10 pasta roller to somebody starting out. It will turn you off on clay. the clay can stick, the clay can chatter, the clay can get grooves. It holds the darker colors and then puts it on the lighter colors. It's annoying. And more importantly, because it's a $10 pasta roller, it takes 3 cranks to turn the roll once, which means you're sitting here and cranking that roll over and over and over. Remember that 35 times? Remember that 35 times? That 35 times is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 35 times. Okay? It takes forever. So instead of and done, crank, 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 crank. Why are you going sideways? Crank, 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 crank. Okay. So, made some canes with the $10 pasta roller, and a couple of the best canes I've done so far were on that pasta roller. Turned out beautifully. I like working with clay. I want to start working with real clay. I want to kill them again. That's a whole nother gripe. We're just not even going to go there right now. I want to do jewelry work again. I want to do semi-precious metal clays again. All of that takes building up inventory, building up finances, building up a workspace, because this really isn't a workspace. This is a little... My tabletop is on top of a short little fireplace insert thingy. My other tabletop over here is on a garbage can. They're just boards. You make do. You figure out what works. My son bought me a beautiful electric pasta roller for Christmas. It's awesome. It takes 3 minutes to temper clay instead of 30. It takes 5 minutes to make a Skinner blend instead of an hour. It's great. It has its own limitations. Every tool will have its own limitations. I've already found a couple of its limitations because I push. But I now have the electric pasta mix maker that allows me to do the Skinner blends fast and easy, which means that I will be doing a lot more. That's a leaf cane with a Skinner blend in the center. Can you see the gradation on the color of the center spiral? I don't know if you can see it or not. I don't know. That's a leaf cane. That's the ugly side. Let's do the pretty side. That's the pretty side. Can you see? I don't know why the lighting keeps shifting. Okay. And then this is all my scrap clay because I don't throw out scrap clay. And it will actually turn into a pretty decent leaf as well. It has zigzaggies on the side. They'll all get covered with gold and reduced down to small, so your perspective is this is the right size for a cane for cutting a bead, and that's that. It's bigger because it's easier to put a pattern in big. The point being, with the electric pasta roller, I was able to knock out 3 leaf canes in the time it would have taken me to prep my workspace for 1 leaf cane with the manual. And I built 3 leaf canes in the amount of time it would have taken me to simply temper my clay without the manual. It took 6 hours to temper clay the first time I did the clay, coming back into this. I have a hate-on for people who use those gaslighting little comments like it's a poor workman who blames his tools when somebody's asking for help or advice, because it's just gaslighting. Do you notice that I am still hanging beads? That I'm still doing this? What are we? We're 19 minutes in. Wow. Okay, so this is going to be a 20-minute video. I'm going to shut off in about 20 more seconds. Yeah, most of these videos are just going to be me rambling on a subject. I'll put the subject in the title or in the description so that you'll know whether or not it's a subject you actually care about. I don't promise to post every single one of the videos that I make. I just don't. I just dripped all over my leg. That was sweet. And we'll play it by ear and see how it goes. You know, I used to do this a lot, and I got really fed up with my appearance, I'll talk about dysphoria too at some point, probably ad nauseum. And my friend Lorianne started her channel, Loriana Lemieux. I'll get a link to that when I figure out how to put links in the thing, and I'll promote her later. She does clay. She does a lot of other stuff. She has rats. She has lots of rats. Maybe she'll do videos of her rats running around. She started doing a video last week, and I was like, you know, I used to do videos. I really need to be doing I need to be doing something. So this is the something. This is me sitting at home being bored and talking to you, and it'll happen probably once a day going forward. It might happen twice a day. I might just like drive y'all totally nuts. Have fun. Be safe. Catch you later.